Good morning, all of you. Today we are here to see the super fast revision of cbse 10th biology. All of you know there are total 6 chapters, and we are going to see the revision of this each chapter one by one, starting from life processes. What actually the life processes? All activities in our body for our survival are called life processes. And the important activities in our syllabus are: first, nutrition; second, respiration; third, transportation; and fourth, excretion. All these 4 activities we are going to see one by one. At first, nutrition. What is nutrition? The process by which the organism get the food, obtain the food, and that food is digested in the digestive system. And this digestive system is consist of digestive part, that is called alimentary canal from mouth to anus, and digestive gland. These are the 2 main parts. So see the digestive system very clearly, its diagrams, labeling and functioning of each part. Just like small intestine is having the villi, and that are the absorptive area. Just like stomach secretes the gastric juice. And what contains the gastric juice? HCl, mucus, hydrochloric acid. All these things you have to see in that digestive system. And also see the difference between autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic means they can produce their own food just like plants, and heterotrophic means they cannot produce their own food. They have to take the food from plants. Means plants are autotrophic and animals are heterotrophic. So this nutrition all of you got. What you have to see? Just digestive system, digestive glands, difference between autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. Now the next part of this life process is respiration. What we do in respiration? We take the O2, and what the importance of that O2 in our body? That O2 is essential for the digestion of the food, and that process is called oxidation. And this releases the energy, and that energy is converted into ATP molecules. This respiration you have to see. And how this respiration takes place by the respiratory system. That diagram is given in the cbse. Different part of the respiratory system, especially the alveoli. What the function of the alveoli? Exchange of gases takes place in between alveoli and blood. That you have to see. And also the difference between aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. The respiration which requires the oxygen is called aerobic respiration. We human being, aerobic respiration. But bacteria, microorganism, certain microorganism, they do not need the oxygen, and that is called anaerobic respiration. So see the difference between aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration systematically. Then after that, how that digested food is transported in our body, that is by the blood. That is called transportation. And this transportation also takes place of waste material also. And also in plants, this transportation takes place by xylem and phloem. What the function of xylem? Transport water and minerals. And what the function of phloem? Transport food and hormones. This transportation you have to see. And also see this composition of xylem and phloem. Different components of xylem, different components of phloem, and their diagram with proper labeling. That also you have to see. And the next life process is excretion. All of you know, removal of nitrogenous waste product from the body is called excretion. How that takes place in human being? That is by the kidney. Kidney filters the urine from the blood, and in this way excretion takes place in the animals or human being. But how that takes place in the plants? This excretion in plants takes place by different processes. Just like waste products are stored in the leaves, and when that leaves falls, waste product also falls. Fruit is also the respiratory organ of plants. Tannins, rubbers, all these are the excretory product of the plants. In this way the excretion takes place in plants. Also the evaporation, excess water evaporated from the plant by the evaporation process through the leaves. This is also the excretory system. So all these life processes you have to see. And after that, the next chapter, all of you know, control and coordination. How the control and coordination takes place in our body, which is the basic cell, that is called nerve cell or neuron, that is important in the control and coordination. And there are different receptor organ which take the sensation and passes that sensation to spinal cord and brain. Just like in our tongue, what is present? Taste buds are present, and that are related to gustatory receptors, and that gustatory receptors detect the taste. After that, what is the function of our nose? What is present in our nose? They are called olfactory receptors, and that olfactory receptors detect the smell. And in this way, our nervous system take the stimulus and gives the responses. All these are the stimulus which is received by the nervous system. Also, we have to see here the voluntary action and involuntary action of our body. Just like heartbeat, respiration, the function of the kidney, what function? To filter the urine from the blood. All these are the voluntary action. Voluntary action means they are not under the control of our will. But what about the involuntary actions? Involuntary actions means the actions which can automatically takes place in our body, that are under the control of the will. Means walking, running, talking, these are called voluntary action. But involuntary action, when we see, that are not under the control of our body, just like heartbeat, respiration, these are the involuntary action that are not under the control of our will. After that, when the two neuron connects each other, what the name of that? That is called synapse. The junction of two neurons is called synapse. After that, the main part of the nervous system is which? That is called brain. And this brain has three parts: forebrain, midbrain and hind brain. What is the function of forebrain? Main thinking part, which receives the stimulus and having the major area, sensory area. Sensory area means whatever the sense organ, and what they get the stimulus, that is get by the brain. And also motor area. Motor area means what the action brain is taking, that action center or motor area center also present in the brain. And also our behavior and also reasoning ability, learning ability, intelligence, all these things are controlled by the forebrain. Then the next part, midbrain. Midbrain is related to the reflex action of eyes and ear. Whatever the movement of the eyes and ear, that reflex action, that is controlled by the midbrain. And then the last part is called hind brain. Hind brain consists of three centers. First is cerebellum. Cerebellum controls our balance, means coordinate the muscular activities or muscular movements. Whatever our gesture, posture, that is controlled by the cerebellum. Then pons variouli, sensory and motor neurons between brain and spinal cord, that is controlled by the pons variouli. Then medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata is the part of the brain that controls the involuntary actions, means the action which are not control our body, just like respiration, heartbeat, that are controlled by the medulla oblongata. At the same way, in animals, plants also having the coordination, control and coordination. How that takes place? That is called tropic movement. The movement of plant as per the specific stimulus, just like nastic movement. Movement of the plant part to touch, just like Mimosa pudica plant, touch me not. That is called nastic movement. When we touch that plant, that leaves become closed. And also there are certain hormones in the plants that are also responsible for changes, that are called phytohormones or plant hormones. Auxins, gibberellins, cytokinin, abscisic acid, ethylene, these are the different hormones present in the plants. See the functioning of these all hormones, just like auxins for growth, gibberellin also promoting growth, cytokinin cell division takes place, abscisic acid, that is the stress hormone, wilting of leaves, falling of leaves, or old age of the plant, that is due to the abscisic acid, and ethylene for ripening of the fruits. These are the different function of these hormones. See in detail these 5 hormones and their particular functions. Role of hormones in animals is also important, just like thyroxine. What is the function of thyroxine? Our thyroid gland secrete the thyroxine, and that is very important for protein synthesis. And also the insulin hormone secreted by our pancreas, that are important for oxidation of glucose, or we can say proper utilization, metabolism of glucose takes place by the insulin. That beta cell, all of you know, that secrete the insulin. And then testosterone hormone, that is the male sex hormone, that is important for the secondary sexual characters in male. And then in female, estrogen and progesterone hormones, what their functions, that female secondary sexual characters. Then the hormone glucocorticoids secreted by the adrenal gland, that are for proper absorption of the glucose. Then mineralocorticoids secreted by the adrenal gland, that is for reabsorption of minerals in our body. Then the hormone adrenaline, noradrenaline, that is also secreted by the kidney, and these hormones to fight with this situation, just like stress situation. So these hormones are called emergency hormones. After that, the next chapter, what is the name? How do organisms reproduce? All of you know, living organisms gives rise to a individual of their own species, and this is called reproduction. Reproduction is of 2 types: asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, there is no use of gametes, and this asexual reproduction takes place by different methods, just like fission. Fission means breaking, binary fission. In amoeba and paramecium, 2 parts from the parent, that is called binary fission. Then multiple fission, many fragments takes place, just like in Spirogyra. This multiple fission takes place. Then budding, which are the organisms in which budding takes place? Budding takes place in Hydra and yeast. And also fragmentation takes place in Spirogyra. Then regeneration takes place in Planaria and also in sea anemone. And spore formation takes place in fungi. These are the all methods of asexual reproduction. And this asexual reproduction in plants also that takes place. How that takes place? That takes place by stem. Just like stem, all of you know, from which the new plants develops. Give me the example of stem. Just like sugar cane, that is also from the stem. And also potato, that is also from the stem. And also some plants produced by roots. Which are the plants? From roots? Carrot, sweet potato, these are from the roots. And which plants from the leaves? Bryophyllum, that is from the leaves. Then artificially we can propagate the plants, and that are by cutting. We can cut particular stem with bud, and we can cultivate them, and that grows into new plants. We can take the part of stem, and from that stem we can layer that stem, and that form the plants. And also grafting means 2 parts, whatever the main part of the plant or the basic plant, that is called stalk, and we can place the another plant's part, that is scion, and we can join that. This stalk and scion, 2 different plants we can join. This is called grafting. Now the sexual reproduction in plants, how that takes place? This is by the zygote formation. There is fusion of male gamete and female gametes, and this forms the embryo. And what actually takes place in the plants? How the seed form? Seed forms from the ovule, and ovary is converted into fruits. This is the sexual reproduction in the plants, and that is called double fertilization. And sexual reproduction in human being, there is male reproductive system, its different parts, and female reproductive system and its different parts. And the sperm from male and eggs from female unites and form the zygote, and that zygote converted into embryo, and that embryo is connected to mother by which part? Placenta. And whatever the time of the growth of that embryo, full development, that is called gestation period. And whatever the methods to avoid the fertilization, that is called contraception. And the monthly cycle in the female, that is called menstrual cycle. The starting part of this menstrual cycle is called menarche, and this closing part is called menopause. This is about the how do organism reproduce chapter. Then heredity and evolution. What actually the heredity? Transmission of characters from parents to offspring is called heredity. And what is variation? And definitely this variation occurs in the sexually reproducing organisms. And generation after generation, this variation increases, because at each generation variation adds due to recombination process. And this variation is less in asexual reproduction and more in sexual reproduction. There are different laws, just like law of segregation. What is this law of segregation? When the gamete forms, this gamete separates. This is called law of segregation. And after that, law of independent assortments, means each gene has its special expression, that is called independent assortment. And sex determination in human being, all of you know, in female XX, in male XY, only one sex chromosome from male and one sex chromosome from female unites, and that results into boy or girl. This is sex determination in human being. And all of you know the dead remains of animals, that are called fossils. And there are two methods of evaluation of fossil. Which are the two methods? Relative method of fossil detection and radioactive method of fossil detection. After that, we have to see the evolution. Very gradual process, very slow process, requires millions of years. That is called the evolution. And actually change in the genetic composition of the population takes place in the evolution. And this evolution causes the variation. And also due to sexual reproduction, errors in the DNA copying causes, and that may cause into speciation. What is this speciation? After so many generations in the evolution, speciation may occur, means formation of new species. How this new species form from the original species? This may be due to geographical barrier, geographical isolation of these two species, or genetic drift. Particular animals shifted to different area, and this causes the variation, and this variation causes the new species. After that, we have to see the homologous organ and analogous organ. What actually the homologous organ? These organs are structurally similar, just like forelimbs of frog, forelimbs of bird, forelimbs of lizard, forelimbs of humans, all are structurally similar. But their function is different. In frog, that is for jumping. In birds, that is for flying. In lizard, that is for crawling. And in human being, what is the function of forelimbs? That are for doing different works. This is called homologous organ. And opposite to that, analogous organ, that are having different structure but same function. Just like wings of birds and wings of insects. See their structure. That structure are different, but function is same. What is? Flying. So this is called analogous organ. See this homologous organ and analogous organ, their definition and proper examples. Now the next topic, what is environment or our environment? What is this environment? Everything surround us is called the environment, and this environment is having the two main component, biotic component and abiotic component. Whatever the living things, plants, animals, microorganisms, they are called biotic component, and the non-living things, they are abiotic component. Which are the non-living things? Temperature, rainfall, wind, soil, minerals, these are called abiotic components. So you must have to differentiate biotic component and abiotic component. At the same way, biodegradable substances and non-biodegradable substances, just like paper, food, waste food, this can be decomposed or not. Decomposed, that is called biodegradable. But plastic, metals, this can decompose in the soil? No, they are called non-biodegradable substances. Just like DDT also, that is also non-biodegradable, affects on the soil and the human being and plants, animal also. After that, ecosystem, particular part of the environment, just like forest ecosystem, terrestrial ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, lake is ecosystem, pond is ecosystem, sea is ecosystem. All these are the particular part of the environment that is called ecosystem. How this ecosystem made up of? Producer, consumer, decomposer. These are the different part of the ecosystem. Producer means they produce the food, just like plants are producer. And who consume the producer or plants? Consumer. They are called consumer, just like deers. And those who decompose this producer and consumer, they are called decomposer, just like bacteria, fungi. After the death of the plant or animal, they decompose them in the soil properly. This is called decomposers. They are also important. They are called cleaner of the environment. They clean the environment. And when we see this ecosystem, there are food chain and food web. Food chain means this is the single cycle, just like plants, deer take the plants and tiger feeds on the deer. This single chain is called food chain. But many food chain when interconnected, that is called food web. In this way, in our ecosystem, this food chain and food web takes place. And then what actually the biological magnification phenomena, all of you know. Biological magnification is certain chemicals or toxic chemicals accumulates in the nature or in the trophic level, maybe in the producer, maybe in the consumer, maybe in the decomposer. These toxic substances accumulates, and this is called biological magnification. And this biological magnification causes the different effects on the ecosystem. After that, ozone layer, all of you know, O3. This is the most important layer which protects our earth from the ultraviolet rays that is absorbed by this ozone layer. And what the effects of this ozone layer, all of you know. Skin cancer, lung cancer, all these are the effects. And what are the responsible factors? Chlorofluorocarbon, nitrogen dioxide, all these are the factors responsible for this ozone hole or ozone depletion, which is very harmful. The most important thing in the environment is how we can manage the waste. We have to recycle, we have to reuse, we have to decompose the waste. All these things are important. Recycle means just like paper or plastic bottles we can use again. This recycling important. Reuse. We can reuse the paper, plastic bottles. This is called reuse. And recycle means certain things we can, in company, we can recycle that. That is called recycle. And landfills, what actually this landfills? Landfills means whatever the waste material that should have to be filled in the land, and that should be covered with the soil, and again that can be used after some time. That is called landfills. And biogas plants. Biogas plants are also important, which can use the waste material. And also sewage treatment plants. That sewage treatment plants also works on the waste material and that purify the wastes, and that can be used for the environment. Now the last chapter, management of natural resources. Whatever the natural resources, that we must have to manage, because some are exhaustible, some are inexhaustible. Exhaustible means they are having the limited supply. They are called exhaustible, just like fossil fuels. Which are the fossil fuel? Coal and petroleum. Once they are used in more quantity, they will not be produced again. So we should have to use them very less quantity or very properly. And they can also cause the pollution also. But inexhaustible resources, they are the unlimited, just like soil, water, wind. These are the inexhaustible resources, and that we should have to use instead of exhaustible resources. What is the best way to save the environment? We have to reduce the use of exhaustible resources. We have to recycle the things. We have to reuse the things. All these are the methods of use of natural resources. Why reuse is better than recycle? Because reuse saves the energy, so that is better than the recycle. And also one thing here, dams. Why to construct the dams? Because construction of dams regulates the flow of the water, and also dams prevent the floods, and dams are also important for to generate the electricity. And also, why rainwater harvesting must be used in urban areas? This rainwater harvesting by different water storing places, just like in Maharashtra, that is called lake. In different area, that is by different names. When we are harvesting this rainwater, that increases the groundwater, and that is important for the nature. And after that, effects of fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are very dangerous. That can create the air pollution, just like petrol, diesel, kerosene. That produces air pollution, just like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide. That affects on the respiratory system, many respiratory diseases, and also that are responsible for global warming. Every day the temperature of the earth is increasing, and that is called the global warming. In this way, we have seen all the 6 chapter, super fast revision. But by this, you got the idea in each chapter what you have to read and which things are important in that, and also the subtopics we can see according to that. So best of luck for your CBSE exam.